Hi there, Sage Canaday of VO2 Max Productions here, welcoming you to another installment of Training for an OTQ. It's Training for an Olympic Trials Marathon Qualifying Time, and it's my quest to do that in the next couple of months. But this episode is about designing a training plan. And to design your own training plan, what you need is a nice straight edge long ruler, probably the longer the better, and a blank sheet of paper to actually write out your plan. I like to write things out on paper first, even before I digitize them. It also doesn't help to have a nice hot cup of coffee and a nice Belgian style waffle with a lot of almond butter all over it. You know, hot coffee is definitely the big kicker for me. I guess a beer would also be nice to have. But so like when Sandy and I, through our coaching business, when Sandy looks at the plans, we do it on a really individual basis, and we really believe that, you know, training should be really individualized to get the best out of yourself. Everyone is quite a bit different, so we do always individualized plans, and I try to do that for myself, however biased I am with myself. It's kind of the struggle of what it's like to coach yourself. But you get an outside perspective, and you know, we've read a lot of books, 20 different books on the shelf on training theory, and look up online articles, exercise science studies, and things like that. You see general patterns that seem to work very well for people, and so a lot of clients we've coached have run under 3 hours for the marathon, or you know, they're training for a Boston Qualifier or Olympic Trials Qualifier, or even, you know, just to finish their first ultra. We take all that into account. We take your background in running, your running history, and so when you see things like me in this episode jump up my mileage from 30 miles a week to 70 miles a week to 100 miles a week, that's mainly because I've had a background in running over the last 16 years where I'm able to have a big mileage base to always go back on, and some residual fitness that happens over time. So if you look at my training logs from the last 5 or 6 years, I've probably still averaged 75 miles a week, including time off. So you take all that background in running into consideration whenever you design a new training plan. But this is kind of how I start out the process, at least for myself. So here we go. So one of the first things I do is I'm going to fill in from the first 2 weeks here. I'm going to look on Strava. I got my Strava training calendar, strava.com. I actually do all my training through GPS and fill it out on Strava, and it's got this nice calendar function, so I could see the workouts that I've been doing for the past 2 weeks, since I've been training a bit for 2 weeks, and I've done a couple quality workouts, but this is really the start of the plan and the focus of the last 7 weeks into race day. And as I mapped out this calendar grid, you could see I actually started with the LA race date down at the bottom. It happens to be on a Sunday, but I work backwards from the race date, and I even wrote the numbers backwards, and I kind of outline where March starts and where February starts, when Valentine's Day is, things like that. But I wanted to give myself a good grid breakdown of each week in a calendar grid system, and then when I fill in the workouts, my future workouts that I'm going to do, I'm also going to start backwards from race day and go backwards into this week of training, which I'm doing now. And so looking backwards from race day on the 15th, that's a Sunday, we go to Saturday, and usually the day before marathon race I'm just going to run like an easy 4 or 5 miles, probably, maybe only 30 minutes, get off the plane in LA, shake out. The day before that's a travel day. I might take that whole day off because I'll be flying to LA there. And then the day before that will also be very easy, probably 5 or 6 miles, and I'll do some strides, maybe 3x100 meter light strides with full recovery, just to get the muscle tension up, leg tension up, keep the metabolism revved. And then 4 days of days before that, I do my last workout before the marathon, which is always a 3 mile or 5K marathon pace run, and it's a kind of a simulation of the start, basically. So it's real easy. It's supposed to be just you wake up at the time your marathon's going to start, you eat what you're going to eat for breakfast on race day morning, and you warm up, maybe a real short warm up, maybe 5-minute jog, just like you would before a marathon, do a couple strides, and just go to a track usually and try to run perfect marathon pace from the gun and not do it too fast, and it kind of gets you in race mode. So that's kind of how I work backwards for that first week there, and then obviously before that it'll be easy, and I'll be tapering that whole last week with my mileage quite a bit. Actually, the last week and a half I'll be doing a taper phase, so we'll fill that in. So then always like about a week out, maybe 8 days out, I like to do the last medium long run. Just a very easy pace, medium length long run. For me it's going to be 15 or 16 miles, and the purpose of that is to keep the metabolism revved up. If you're tapering, you see my mileage figures there, maybe 50 to 60 last week, and then 70 or 80 2 weeks out. You want to keep your metabolism revved up still, and you don't want your body to get too sluggish from the taper. You still need some muscle tension, and you actually don't want to pack on pounds if you start carb loading. So it's important to do that. And then about 10 days out, 11 days out, I like to do my last VO2 max type of workout. Mile repeats, 1,000 meter repeats are usually my favorite. And it doesn't have to be an all-out, real hard VO2 max workout. It's more for muscle tension again and leg turnover, and really capitalizing on that aerobic fitness. But counting back from that, you can see I'm getting lazy. I just put in easy days. I don't even put in the mileage, but I do have general mileage figures of what I want to hit, and I know, 3 weeks out I still want to be pretty high, 110 to 115, and then before that we're going to peak at 125 about per week mileage, and then go down from there. So that's kind of the gist of the plan. And this week we're going for 105, 110. Then we're going to ramp it up to 120, because I know that's kind of my sweet spot for marathon training on the road. Alright, so as you can see, the plan's a little messy. It's never a completely finished project, and I do make adjustments on the fly, a lot more so with my own plan. I don't fill in as many details as Sandy and I usually would. With athletes that we coach, we actually go into a lot more detail, and Sandy could also draw lines straight on the paper plans, but we fill out online grids and Google Docs as well, and keep tabs with very specific paces and mileage for each week, whereas myself, I'm always in this constant flux. And that's kind of part of the struggle with coaching yourself, is you're always all over the place. I don't know if I'm going to do some of these races or exactly what an effort's going to be. Sometimes I like to switch around. It's 3x3 mile lactate threshold type of workout with maybe a 6 mile negative split up tempo run, and then seeing where I put in. Manipulating the long runs are a huge variable, because you could do a 22 mile long run and it could be steady acceleration the whole way, it could be steady the same pace the whole way, or it could be this big negative split where you really throw down the last 8 or 10 miles, or maybe you have 4 or 5 miles at marathon goal pace. Or I like to do some fartlek at the end of my long runs as well to stimulate fast twitch muscle fibers. So maybe I'm doing 3-minute VO2 max surges. So things like that with the plan. But this is kind of the complete skeleton outline of what my next 7 weeks are going to look like leading into the race. And it's good to have a plan, because without a plan you're lost. So that's my episode on building the training plan, or at least building my OTQ, potential OTQ training plan. Thanks for sticking with me and following along in this whole series. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video if you like it, and stay tuned for a lot more. We're gonna have some workout videos coming your way in the near future here, so definitely stay tuned for that. And thanks so much for all the supportive comments, and I wish you the best with all your training too. It was great to see that a couple of you are training for LA as well, or you've got a spring marathon in the books. So really encouraging to hear, and I wish you all the best with your training and your progress. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more VO2 Max Productions.